And welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3 of Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball. Here live from Growlers, Hawaii on Kapahulu Avenue, right across the street from Alawai Boulevard. This is the Christmas episode. We are here with Jaja, Lando. My name is Mr. Coach, here with special guests all the way from Pearl City, Hawaii, Mr. Chayson Dulatre.
Thanks for having me, boys.
I will mention that we have a little bit of a live studio audience here at Growler, Hawaii. There are 4 of our teammates here in attendance, one of which is having a nice beverage at 9 in the morning.
You can guess who it is. Take a wild guess.
If you go back to Episode 1 of Season 2, this will all make sense. Dula, first time on the podcast, man. How do you feel?
Feel good. I've been wanting to get on the podcast in Season 1. Never got the call. So I had to comment on IG to get on this podcast.
Hey, you got to be your own spokesperson sometimes, dog. And sometimes it works out. Look, here you are.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you on the podcast. Dula is our resident catcher on the Danimals squad. We have been calling him up ever since he graduated high school. So throughout his college career, he went on to go play college ball at St. Martin's University in Washington. But all throughout his college career, when he would come back home, he would get the call from the Danimals to come catch a few games, because when you are this old and this decrepit, it is hard to squat and kneel and play a game behind the dish. So we do appreciate all the service that you do behind the plate there, and all of our pitchers do as well. You know, it's a thankless job, I think, at times, and we alluded to this a little earlier. It's one that goes underappreciated, but from us to you, we certainly appreciate it, having caught all those games and being the guy that caught the last out of the Danimals championship game here in the fall 2023 season, man.
Thank you for
a tightly contested game with high pressure situation.
Yeah, it was. But it was fun though. I always love coming out to Danimals. I always joke that playing in college is like a job. Playing for the Danimals, you find your love for the game again.
That's that's how we all, I think of Danimals now.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of ex-college ball players and who all kind of say the same thing. Like, this is what makes me feel like a kid again. You know?
For sure. And it's true though.
Also want to shout out Dallas for also taking a lot of reps back there behind the dish for us this season. I know you and him kind of carried the load this season.
Yeah, so I told him the last game, obviously we're trying to win. So he's like, I told him, you should probably start just in case it's a close game. If we get a lead, I'll go in. Because
Dallas has a working throwing arm.
Yeah, mine is pretty broken.
If you see Dula back there, just know that he's throwing some hand grenades.
It might not even
back
reach
to the
second
pitcher,
base.
you know.
Yeah, when you wear the 2-piece mask, that's when you know they shouldn't run.
There you go. Well,
scare tactics. That's what
Chayson, we're not gonna
guys wear.
Not gonna lie, we pulled up some old Marinol state championship game footage last night, and we were walking through the last inning of the 2015 state championship game. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Jarin boots the ball, which would have been the game-ending play had he made it. We'll clip it right here.
No.
And I know that's Jarin's worst nightmare.
We're not clipping that.
It's Jaren's worst nightmare to have that played for the public. But Chayson, that was actually, I think, your first little taste of varsity baseball.
Yep.
Was in that state championship game when JR, our starting catcher, had to go pitch.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, getting just kind of put into the fire? I know we had it was an 8-4 lead or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't too. Speaking from an outside perspective, it didn't look like there was too much pressure. But I can still imagine you feeling the nerves of it being probably one of your first varsity games and it being the state championship game. What was that like for you?
So it was my first time catching in a varsity game that year. I was DHing that whole year, and then Randy talked to me before the game. He's like, yo, you're going to get one at bat, and then we're going to pull you out because we're going to need you to catch the last inning. And I was like, well, that sucks. Anyways, but so I kind of had an idea that I was going in to catch. And for me, I was a hitter. So my defense is what I pride myself on. And my whole thing was defense never slumps. So I was ready to go in, and catching for Jared was easy. He didn't throw hard. He just threw a lot of strikes. So that's the best.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a senior, Chayson and I actually didn't get the chance to play with each other in high school. We were too far apart age-wise. But when you were coming up and I was a senior, I remember, hey, this guy can receive. He doesn't have the arm quite yet, but you grew into that.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty cool to get you behind the dish in that state championship game. One of my favorite moments was when JR struck. So, right, bottom of the seventh, two outs.
Just get to the final pitch of the game.
Rollover, JR induces a rollover to second base, and then Jaja just boots it, which is just, classic of Marinal baseball. In the seventh inning, with second baseman makes the last out an error.
Keep in mind, this is at Les Murakami Stadium, which
on
is
all turf.
All turf, by the way, no bad hops.
Let's change the narrative here a little bit. I had the pleasure of talking to Mr. Justin Ushio, and actually, I watched the last play of the game last night with the boys of the 2014 game. I want to be the first to point the finger at Jason Nakamura instead.
Ooh.
I want to take the pressure and the bad taste that people have in their mouth on Marinal second baseman. I want to put it on the first baseman.
Well, in 2015, it was the second baseman's fault.
No,
in 2000, yeah, but in 2015, it ate
yeah,
you
that's
up.
undeniable.
Yeah.
Except
But
the
anyways,
turf monster was there.
right? So run on first now. All of a sudden,
Yep.
2 outs in the bottom of the seventh. JR strikes out the batter. You guys win the state championship game. And my favorite part was when you go in to hug JR. He gives the cutest, and I mean the cutest fist pump. It is like out of an anime. I don't know. It was pretty funny. Did you realize that that's what he was doing in your arms?
Dude, he was like spazzing.
It was a moment, dude. It
Yeah.
was a great moment.
No, if I'm being honest, before that inning started, I told JR, if you strike out the last batter, jump up and I'll catch you. Like you watch the World Series, every catcher and pitcher has that moment. So I told JR, if you strike out the last batter, just run to me and I'll catch you. So we had it planned out.
Did you not think that was risky, like pre-planning the celebration?
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, do you guys have those conversations, like, or is that just?
I'm way too superstitious.
No, well, so for me, I was like, I didn't play this whole game, so I'm gonna have my moment on TV. And like we grew this lead, it was an 8-4 lead. It was an 8-4 lead. I mean, now that I look back on it, maybe I almost botched ourselves, but the way the game was going, like we were playing pretty good.
And then I made the error.
I
I do want to take this time to say this is a Christmas episode. Some of us have some Christmas gear on. Every 5 to 10 minutes, we're gonna be doing a Christmas joke. So here's the first one.
Fire away, Jaw.
All right. What do you call? Oh wait, no, that's not the right one. What is the best Christmas gift you can give someone?
I don't know, Jarin. What is it?
What'd you say?
I don't know, Jarin. What is it?
Anybody have any guesses? A broken drum. Because it cannot be beaten.
That's a good one.
I thought you were going to say,
next joke. That was a good one.
Thank you, live studio audience.
I mean, talk about a brutal start on that side of the table.
It can only go up from
Please
here.
don't stop
I'm
watching.
pretty
The podcast is just beginning.
sure. Yeah, it can
There's
only
many
go
more
up.
to come.
Hey, turn your attention to this camera. Dula and I are having a great conversation here, and Jaren's supposed to butt in with a god-awful
It's the
Christmas joke.
episode I have.
It is the Christmas episode. We have two of us that are in Christmas gear. I've got the shirt and the hat. Look at Jaw with the nice Christmas sweater, and Dula and Landon are sporting the Danimals gear.
And you know what this is? This is not the brand. I'm sorry, Kyle, for making this joke. This is Kyle trying to say the word wreath.
Oh no!
Sorry, Kyle.
That's a
Chase
good
brought
one.
it up last night. It was on my mind.
That was a good one.
That's brutal.
We love Mr. Abe, though. We love him.
But Dula, so you've had the opportunity to catch the final out of a high school state championship and the Danimals ball championship.
I just realized that, actually. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
you're the only person to ever catch a Danimals championship last out.
Hopefully not the last.
Which also shouldn't have been the last out. I think there was an error that inning as well. But
Yeah, it was a drop ball by the first whoever was playing first.
I forget.
Yeah.
Honestly, that it was kind of all of a blur.
But yeah, so maybe a good look back there for like the last outs.
Maybe.
What are you thinking back there when it's like, Danimals game was a closer game. You got the bases loaded, 2 outs, new pitcher in, and you're back there and you're going, if a ball gets past me, this game is, flipped on its head, and there's so much different dynamic there. What's your thought process behind there?
Honestly, my only thought process is to not let the ball go by me, like you pointed out. Nothing really changes as far as like what I'm calling pitch wise. Like, I don't care. You can throw a curveball in the dirt or whatever, but I'm gonna block it. I'm not gonna let it get past me, because that's like the worst feeling as a catcher. Is like having your pitcher have trust in you to call or to throw any pitch they want, and then you don't do your job and block the ball. So honestly, I told Reggie, just throw the ball. I'll be there.
Yeah, before you came on and started playing with the Danimals, it turns out that your boy was the most regular catcher on our team. And, prior to that, I didn't really catch at all in my life. And it is a pretty bad feeling when you let a ball go by you and you kind of just jog back to the backstop, pick it up, and turn to your pitcher and go, sorry, brother.
No, it is.
That's on me.
It is. And, I mean, as a catcher, like, that was the number one thing all my coaches preached to me is, like, block the ball. Like, no pass balls. I remember in college, like, for the first, like, 3 or 4 games in the season, we had, I don't even know how much pass balls, but it was a lot. And every practice after that, we just did blocking. No throwing, no receiving, no nothing, just blocking the whole time.
Do pitchers in college ever treat you like how the quarterbacks treat their offensive linemen? Like, I just saw a clip of, like, Patrick Mahomes buying his entire offensive linemen, like, golf carts for Christmas. I feel like as a pitcher or as a pitching staff, you would want to do something similar for a guy that's putting his body on the line for you when you got to spike an 0-2, like, slider in the dirt. Does that ever happen? Or, do you think that the catching job is just one of those, like, thankless but, like, thank you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I wish that happened. Like, to all the pitchers out there, take care of your catchers.
Go give your catcher a firm handshake and some beer.
Yeah. No, for real. I mean, I'd like to say that my pitchers in college took care of us pretty good. Like, I mean, it wasn't much, but it would be like if the pitchers had meal credits, they'd buy us dinner after practice.
Wow.
Like. I mean, stuff like that, but it goes a long way as a college student. Like, free food is always the best. Yeah. But, yeah, no. Pitchers, appreciate your catchers, because I think catchers are one of those positions on the field where, like, if you have a good game, nobody talks
notices.
About it.
It's but like a kicker.
But if you have a bad game, everybody talks about it.
It's like a kicker in college.
Exactly.
You miss the kick, it's like that you have one job. You know what I mean? Yeah, catching is just like the job that you put the most effort in that gets like looked at the least, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet as like 14 blocked balls, especially when Landon's pitching is like 97 balls in the dirt. I put my body in front of 92 of them, but
hey Landon, I caught all of your pens in high school.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Honestly, you didn't throw that much dirt balls, if I'm being honest.
Are you kidding me?
I was more left and right, miss.
Yeah, you were more like way out or way in or up high.
Like, what did you just throw there? Oh, that was my fastball.
No, that's always the question.
Landon be throwing cutters in warm-ups, dude.
He'd be like, I'll be like, did you try to do that? He'd be like, no.
Well, I don't know if we can recall to the first episode of the season, second episode of the season, when I caught for Josh and I threw a runner out at third base. He still owes me that 30 rack. I'm still waiting on it. He hasn't gotten it to me yet. Hey, what are you going to do? Thank your catchers. Take it from Dula. We'll take a short break. We'll see you on the other side of the sponsorship message. On the other side here, live from Growlers, Hawaii, this is Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball, Season 2, Episode 3, the Christmas episode, here with Chayson, Dulatre.
Oh, ho, ho.
This episode of Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball is sponsored by Growler Hawaii. From quality craft beverages, delicious cuisine to a quality ambiance, Growler Hawaii is the place to be for your post-game Danimals Dubs Sellies. Experience the best quality American beer at a craft beer pub in Honolulu. Located in Kapahulu near Waikiki Beach, it is the go-to place to sit back, relax, and enjoy handcrafted beer made to perfection. We all look forward to a crisp beer and delicious grinds after our ball games. Mahalo, Uncle Bill, Uncle Al, Josh, and Jake. We'll see you there. This is Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball Season 2, Episode 3, live from Growlers, Hawaii. Actually, when you see this, it won't be live. This will be a few days after it's live. This is the Christmas episode. We're filming this before Christmas, hence the outfit here. Jarin looking spiffy in the Christmas sweater. I can say the same about the two gentlemen in the Danimals jerseys. I'm just here. You know, we're just going to live with whatever shows up. At least I don't have a mustache now, right?
Yeah. Can we point out what's on Mr. Coach's shirt?
It's going to be hard to see, but shout out OB Golf and the crew there. The OB Golf crew and, Brada and Yobs over there who actually made our jerseys, right? So those jerseys that we have featured here on Landon and Dula, they are brought to you by the makers of OB Golf. So shout out to the boys. Check them out. Great group of fellas over there. We're wrapping up our talk here with Chayson Dulatre, who was our catcher in the final out of the Danimals Championship game here in the fall of 2023. Dula got the opportunity to play at St. Martin's for a little bit. For, I think 5 years. You got a COVID year in there?
5 years. So tore my ACL senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Shout out Landon.
Knee, brother, dog. Let's go.
ACL boys.
ACL boys.
So my freshman year at St. Martin's, I redshirted, go through rehab, and then played my 4 years. So that's 5. I could have went back one more, but why spend money to play baseball when I can make money using my degree?
Yeah, but I think your baseball career was pretty cool because you got to play against HPU and like UH Hilo, who were also in that conference. And so some of the Danimals players that we have on our team currently were alumni of those schools. So guys like Braxton and Diego and even Josh, who was mentioned on episode 2. And Keola, a beloved guest of the pod and a former Danimals player. What was it like to play against those guys and then to kind of see it all kind of come full circle and to play with them now?
It was good. I mean, it was super fun. Obviously, at the time, not knowing them and playing against another team, at that time you're going to battle. But I know after the game, after the season was done, coming back, playing Danimals baseball, and then seeing these guys, it was good. Like talking point. Talk story with them. Oh, remember when we came down and beat you 3 out of 4 games? Nah. But it was fun. It was a good time, and I guess there's just that familiarity with the HPU boys on this Danimals team, thanks to Josh and all of them. But it was good.
Yeah, I think it is pretty cool to always kind of wrap up and see people on the other side of their college career. And then, like you mentioned, it being more of a kid's game now when we play Danimals versus it being like, I'm going to war against you and I hate you and you're my enemy. And now all of a sudden, like, these are your brothers and, these are guys that you share a drink with after the game and have a laugh, So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good time being with them and being with all the other Danimals boys, but yeah.
So, I want to get into something that's a little interesting. Every like April-ish, like kind of closing in on the summer, our former high school baseball coaches invite us to go play softball. And in those conversations, you got pulled into a coaching job after one of our softball teammates, who is our former baseball coach at Marino, landed the head coaching position at Mauna Loa. You have been chosen or selected or brought on by Coach Blaine to work with the Mauna Loa High School baseball team. How has that experience been? I mean, first time probably for you coaching or in a coaching capacity or formal coaching capacity. What's that been like for you, buddy?
It's been fun. Honestly, after I graduated college, stopped playing baseball, you missed the game. I mean, we had Danimals, but it's a different type of baseball, I guess you could say. Being in a more serious role with these guys, varsity baseball, Mauna Loa baseball, it was fun, and it is fun to give back to those guys and help them get to where I was, which is, getting to college, maybe even further, who knows. But it's good to be in that role now as, I guess you could say, a role model or coaching role.
Yeah, having a coaching job is so influential on people who are at that peak of like deciding what they want to do.
Mold the youth, man.
No, for real. And
giving back to the community.
Yeah, and that was always my goal after I stopped playing. I always told myself, I want to start coaching, start helping these kids, and then just share everything I learned throughout my career and in college and give them the opportunity to learn the same thing.
Dude, it's gonna be so cool. Like 4 years from now, when you see those kids graduating, and then those kids going to college, and then you're gonna like just follow them throughout their college career, and then afterwards, when they're all old and we're even older, right? You're gonna invite them back to play Danimals, and then they're gonna be running the Danimals. And
my seniors now are gonna be coming to Danimals in the summer if Mr. Coach allows.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're always welcoming catchers.
And we have a senior catcher who is going to be going to play college ball, so he's going to need some reps.
Yeah.
So as a coach, if there's any young catchers watching this, what would be one piece of advice that you would want to share to any young catcher trying to improve his game?
Honestly, like, take the pens seriously in practice. Like, I know it's a tough job. I mean, you get pulled from probably your BP time to go in the pen and catch pens for the pitchers, but that time is honestly the most important time. You get to build your relationship with your pitchers. You know what makes them tick, and if they're missing a spot, you know how to correct them, and you'll see it and you'll learn it there. And when it comes to the games, when they're on the mound and you're behind the plate, you know exactly what to say or what to do or when to call time, or you'll know when they're struggling, and you know exactly what to tell them. So those pen times is honestly the best times.
And only good coaches will tell you that. Only people who really understand the game will notice those types of details and be extra attentive to it. It's like how my infield coach in college used to say, catch play, like warming up, that should be a drill. Yep. And you should be working on things while you play catch. It's not just warming up or getting loose or just going through the motions. It's all of these little details that if you add on to your game, it's going to elevate you to the next level. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I tell my guys this all the time. I mean, with catch play, with anything you do at practice, you can take everything you do at practice and you can make that a drill, like you said, and every little thing you do just makes you better. So do it with a purpose, because that's going to just make you a better person, a better player.
You know, speaking of all these like good practices that you want catchers to do, having now flipped from a player perspective to a coaching perspective, are there things that you're like now realizing like, oh, that's why my coach was telling me to take this seriously?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, being a player, like, you don't take catch play seriously. You don't, like, all these little things, all those things that you may not think is important. You definitely, as a player, don't take it personally or seriously. But like, now being a coach and now realizing like all these little things add up,
and then it frustrates the hell out of you when your kids are like, why does this matter?
And it does.
You're like, you don't see it yet.
But, and it's like, you may not know now, but you'll know later. You'll thank me later,
Yeah. That's the old coach Jason Brown, hate me now, love me later philosophy.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we want to, like I said, every 5 to 10 minutes we're going to be doing our Christmas jokes. It's time for another one. What is a sheep's favorite Christmas tune?
What, Jaja?
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz. I recently went to a Christmas bar, and I went to go order. They have a drink on the menu called Fa La 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 La, and I didn't want to say that, and I went, "Can I have this one?" And she's like, "You have to say it."
Shout out to that Rachel. She's doing her job. Right.
Is that the one at Alamana?
It's the one of the old Chokuro. Yeah. So it's like I want that one. She's like, you have to say it. It's like, God, it's brutal.
Asked our Danimals fans to write in some questions for Dula. One of the first ones: describe to us your perfect off-season workout outfit.
Probably board shorts. Go to the beach, come back, and then I don't know, t-shirt, shorts, and shoes. What kind of question is that? Who could ask that question?
That question was brought to you by Lummy.
Of course, you asked that question.
Let me pivot to a different outfit, because I think you have one of the more legendary Halloween costumes, where you came in to a Halloween game dressed in a like stereotypical construction worker. You had the neon green jacket on, the long pants, the steel-toe boots, the construction hat, and you were just skanking on them with the green bottles in hand. How often does that stereotype come to life in your daily like work?
Absolutely zero.
I mean, you had the moves, bro. I remember like seeing you on third base. Like, I don't know how you got to third base. maybe you got walked and then like I don't know, like a ground out and you moved in Vans, but you're on third base and all of a sudden this guy was just hitting the Mai Tai's skank, bro. It was hilarious, bro.
Yeah, no, I don't do that often.
It looks like you practice in front of the mirror, dude.
No, I mean, I guess it kind of comes out, I guess, but
that's just what being born in Hawaii does to you.
Yeah, it's just
you know how to do that.
It's local boys. I mean, just local boys having fun and skanking. I mean, I skank, but like in a neon jacket and hard hat. No, I don't work construction. I work.
Next question from our Danimals fan. Thank you for writing in, Carson. Who on the team would you let date your daughter?
That's a good question.
Would you let date your daughter? Because there's a lot of guys I would not let date my daughter.
Yeah, who would I let date my daughter? Okay, let's see.
Having a hard time.
Yeah, I'm going through the roster right now, and I'm having a hard time thinking of. Let's see.
Hey, I mean,
you can say
you can be my stepdad. I don't know.
I'd let Mr. Coach date my daughter. He's gonna be a doctor soon.
You got money.
No, it's not about the money. It's about if my daughter was sick, he could take care of her.
And if you're sick.
And if I mean the money is good too, but no. I think Mr. Coach.
All right, like I said, we do have a live studio audience. Some of our idiot friends wrote into the podcast. Question 1 for Dula. Who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm motherfucking Chayson Dulatre. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Question 2, with no context. How big is it?
60 feet 6 inches.
Or,
call back to episode 1.
As Cindy would say, 10 feet?
Really? It's that big?
All right, we're skipping the next 2. Favorite Mai Tai's waitress?
Favorite Mai Tai's waitress? If Jaja, you were a waitress, you'd be my favorite waitress.
Thank you very much.
You're
I would
welcome.
look good in that black skirt.
I think they were. It's like a
floral dress.
It's like a floral dress. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't go there.
Okay.
This isn't a question. This is just Coach Brad commenting. Always eating, Dula.
That's why I'm big and strong, and he's about yay high.
Dude, I swear Coach Brad posts more pictures of him eating
yes.
food than anybody I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, no. It's just because he's small. That's why.
But he got the gout too.
That's what I mean.
The boy eating too much steak.
When remember when he had his beard, he looked like a billy goat. I don't think he has it anymore, but
dude, he had that in the state championship game.
Yeah, he has the billy goat beard.
I do remember that, and yeah.
More doors or wheels in the world?
What in the world?
I've thought about this actually.
This question is brought to you by Cindy.
I've actually thought about this. I think there is more doors in the world than wheels.
I agree.
Because if you think about it, right? Apartment buildings, hella doors, not that much cars.
Well, and every car has 4 wheels and also
4 doors. Yeah, so everything.
So there's offsetting.
Yeah.
Would you count, so like a 4Runner, right? There's 4 doors, but there's also the trunk. Would you consider that a door?
I wouldn't.
Because technically they call it a 5-door car, right?
Wait, so
I also think about like an office building, those rolly chairs. Every one of them has like 5.
Okay,
wheels.
is that what we're like? Is it
not a wheel? Every Hot Wheels car in the world, the doors don't work, but there's wheels.
But there's doors on it though.
But they don't work. So is that a door if it doesn't open?
I think we're talking. It doesn't matter if it functions or not. It is a door.
Yeah.
I don't know which side I'm on.
Such riveting conversation.
But I think there's more doors in the world than wheels. For sure.
All right, comment below if you think there are more doors or wheels in the world. And give us a little bit of your logic, too. Don't just comment anything, because we want to know.
Okay.
I'ma leave the door open.
Shout out Bruno. Let's get Bruno on the podcast.
We'll just call him.
Yeah, I'll give him a buzz. With that, thank you, Dula, for making your first appearance on Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball. Season 2, Episode 3 live here from Growlers Hawaii. On the other side of the commercial break, we'll have a fan favorite, an OG Danimal. Stay tuned and find out. This is Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball.
This episode of Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball is brought to you by Aloha Caps and Aloha Mitts. For the baseball gear you want and need, handled and delivered to you with Aloha. Aloha Caps and Aloha Mitts, founded by Everett Lau, a Division 1 infielder, and Emerson Lau, the business and digitally savvy brother, aim to bring you high-quality hats and mitts to the islands of Hawaii. With sizes between 7 1/4 and 7 1/2,
Size matters.
Aloha Caps delivers exceptional quality caps that have been protected from environmental and external exposures. You can find them on Instagram at Aloha_caps and Aloha Mitts. DM for any inquiries or purchase information.
And welcome back to Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball. This is Season 2, Episode 3, brought to you by Growlers Hawaii. We're here live from Growlers Hawaii here in the fine establishment on Kapahulu Avenue. If you see a new face on set, this is an OG Danimal. One of the first. You can tell by the jersey, the old blacks. Yes. And they're not that nice, but they're a classic. We love them. This is Michael Nishiki here all the way from Seattle, Washington. Landed last night, here this morning, just showing the pride he has for the Danimals franchise. Welcome to the podcast, Michael.
Welcome back home.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for having me. You know, had to do it. Landon hit me up, and I said, absolutely. I'm not going to say no to this.
Michael's actually been a big fan recently. He's been watching all the episodes. What has been your favorite moment in a Danimals podcast thus far?
Cindy's one was good. But I got to give it to Landon on the Higa Hacks episode when he threw the ball to the umpire after making the play, and the umpire was just like, what?
We'll clip that in. I think that's the one where he like boots the ball at first base, scrambles to pick it up, dives onto first base, gets the out, and then all of a sudden nonchalantly flips the ball back to the umpire.
Yeah, like I replayed it 5 times, and every time I could not stop laughing. Like it was like the first time I was watching it. It was that funny. So thank you, Landon, for doing that.
Hey, Landon has blessed us with some unforgettable moments in his career. I think every time I play a game with Landon, something new happens, and it just makes me laugh. And we're sad to hear that. What are your thoughts, actually, Michael, on Landon? Hearing Landon hanging up the cleats, about to retire. His jersey will be hung up here in the rafters of Growler Hawaii. How does that make you feel? You've been playing with this guy for quite a long time.
Yes, since we were kids, and it's sad. I'm not gonna lie, but I understand it. You know, you don't have any more ACLs to give at that point, so you might as well hang it up.
Well, I didn't have any more ACLs to give before this last injury.
You're right.
Negatives.
Okay, yeah, but and I'm glad you'll still be around. You'll still be coaching, and I'll be watching, even though I'm not gonna be here all the time. But for sure, I'm excited for your coaching adventure now that he's in med school.
Yeah, well, Michael was a teammate of Landon's, I think, for a very long time, all the way to the baby Hanabata days, all the way up until Marino Baseball and then Danimals Baseball for a little bit before you moved out to Washington. What has been your favorite part about playing with Landon all these years? You know, from all the way from coach pitch and things like that to seeing him thrive on a Danimals baseball diamond.
Yeah, I mean, it's just moments like the ones you see, right? I remember in intermediate, you were throwing a bullpen on one end on the Moy Field bullpen. You know, there's 2. There's one bullpen and there's one right next to it. You're throwing to someone, and I was catching for someone on the other side. And I was squatting, and all of a sudden, like, a ball hits me. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? And I was like, oh, Landon hit me from the other bullpen, and he missed his catcher. I was like, I was kind of mad in the moment, but also I thought that was hilarious. Like, it was one of the funniest things ever. And
yanked one.
Yeah.
Well, I think, we had Dula on earlier, and now we have Michael on. You're looking at, in this camera shot, at the early days of the Danimals catchers. We split time behind the plate and had to suffer through the first 3 years of not knowing anybody who could catch until we met Dula. right? Or until Dula came back from school. But the two of us have shared some moments behind the dish. I remember arguing early before games, like, "Hey, you catch 5, I catch 4," and then we would just leave you out there because I was tired. And we all know you hated catching. Like, you would not show up to games because you're like, "You're gonna make me catch. I don't want to go." But hey, props to you. I think you were a much better catcher than I think you realized, and we loved you for that. But sorry for putting you through all of that behind the dish, buddy.
No, it's all good. Looking back, I think, that was a really funny time because I remember arguing with you. I was like, I'm done. I want to get out of here. It's so hot. But if you ever do need a catcher, I'd be willing to do it again. Not gonna lie, just to be around with you guys again.
We're gonna go ahead and clip that.
All right, it's recorded. It's official, ladies and gentlemen.
Just can't take it back now, I guess.
Well, in high school, you didn't catch much at all. I think maybe in intermediate a little bit, but you spent most of your time, I think, in the outfield. At least that's what I remember. In 2014, your senior year, winning the state championship game, you won the state championship game, player of the game. You had the on-field interview, the OC16 Impact player of the game, Michael Nishiki. You went 2 for 3 with a 2 RBI single. The infamous single that tore Landon's ACL. That was the one that, Philip came around to score, Brent came around to score, then Philip went up for the chest bump, and down goes Higa. But so you had the infamous hit that tore Landon's ACL. You also, I think, had another hit in the game. You went 2 for 3 and then scored a run as well. You contributed 4 or 3 runs to that game in a 4-0 victory. But that was pretty crazy, coming from very humble beginnings where I think you weren't the most confident baseball player ever. I remember coming to games and you'd be like, they look a lot better than us. And then
we're the Smurfs,
dude, we're
so
gonna
tiny.
lose you. Look at them.
Coming from very humble beginnings and then, all the way to a state championship impact player of the game. What was that like, having that moment, seeing the crowd at Les Murakami Stadium, all of your classmates, all of the people who came out to support, and the whole team behind you, watching you struggle through that interview as a nervous Nelly, dude. What was that like on live TV?
Bro, I honestly wasn't sure if they're going to pull me in because I know, Josh, you're pretty upset, but let's be honest. It goes to the offensive player.
To give it a little bit of context, Josh did throw a CG one-hitter, shutout. It was a 4-0 CG one-hitter, and they gave player of the game to you.
Well, maybe if you do a no-hitter, they would have given it to you, but just weren't good enough, Josh.
Well, speaking of that, the only hit that Josh gave up was a floater. It was a bleeder into left field, one hopper. I think if you put a little more effort into it, you could have closed out Josh's no-hitter.
Yeah, well, it was just all pre-planned. I wanted, that player of the game, so I got to let it drop. I had to.
Yeah, you see, you really wanted to be on that interview.
What was that interview like in front of all the fans, all of the players? You're literally on Les Murakami Stadium, along the first base line, the whole backdrop of all the fans celebrating that we had just won the state championship game. What was that like with Dash?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I've seen the 2009 interview, I've saw them do it, so I was like, okay, you know what? Just be humble, give credit to the other team, try not to look like a fool, and yeah, just be positive.
I think you're a lot better well-spoken than I would have imagined. I feel like knowing you personally, I thought you would have been like, it's just good to be here.
Yeah.
But you actually held yourself together pretty well.
You know why? Because Jen Boniza also told me the questions before we went live. So she was like, oh, you can say this and that. So I think that kind of calmed me down, and it wasn't just on the fly.
One of the questions that she did ask you was whether or not you were going to be continuing baseball, right, into college and whatnot. And you had said, no, this was my last game. And I mean, what a way to end your so-called professional baseball career. I wanted to ask, when did you kind of make that decision and know that was going to be your final game, win or lose? It was, that was the final game.
Yeah, I think going into my senior season, I just kind of figured this would probably be the last ride. And just go all out, have no regrets, just, throw caution to the wind and do what you can. And then I think after that state championship game, when we won and I got player of the game, I think I was like, what better way to end it, Yeah,
what more can you do?
Yeah, I was like, I'm content. And I had some talks with Coach Randy after the season and everything, but I just made the decision not to proceed further. I just, this was the best ride. Like, I just wanted it to end that way.
So after you wrap up your formal, I don't think professional baseball career, I mean, unless you were getting paid NIL deals under the table in high school. After you wrap up your formal baseball career on such a high note, you spent some time in college. I don't think you played Danimals quite yet, or we didn't have the team quite yet. It took a few years in, but then we started Danimals up again. You got to see all your high school classmates that we didn't see each other for a while because you went away for college, I went away for college, and a lot of people went their separate ways. We all kind of come back, started playing Danimals. What was that like to get the band back together?
It was awesome, just seeing all those faces again, just having our core group be able to play baseball, with like I know you guys were mentioning Kyle Abe, Jason was there, of course, Jarin and all you guys. It was just being, more fun to just be around you guys and actually play baseball because, I was so bad. I remember I got 2 hits. I have the number 2 on this jersey. I only got 2 hits the entire year. It was the last game of the season where I got my 2 hits. And it's funny because I told Darren, next season, I'm going to be number 0 because that's how many hits I'm going to get. And that's on my other jersey, which I brought. It's number 0. Thankfully, I didn't get 0 hits, but yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, man. Well, I think always seeing you, Michael, is such a blessing. We miss you dearly. I think every time you're able to come out, like I think you dropped in for the Halloween game this year, which was like just a pleasure to see you. All of a sudden, you're just jacked. It was just like, you were a Smurf like 10 years ago. I don't know what that's about. But it's always such a fun time to see you get the band back together, the core group of guys, the OG Danimals with the black jersey, the blue script there. Very humble beginnings before all of the lights and all the cameras and stuff. We just had the little iPhone meme generator Instagram post. But that was kind of cool.
Yeah, man. That Halloween game, that was probably one of the most fun times I've had on the field just because we just didn't take it serious at all, and we were dressed up so like stupidly. I remember like Brandon in that banana costume. You got us in the prisoner costumes, and
What, you playing shorts?
yeah, I was in shorts. Yep. Yeah, it's always just a good time seeing you guys.
Well, we got a couple questions from the fans here. This is going to be the last segment before we wrap up here with Michael Under the Lights, presented by Danimals Baseball. Questions from the fans. This is from Olaboy, and I think you can tell by the question from Olaboy, what is your favorite Pokemon?
I feel like the first one that came to mind was Blastoise, just because, you walk up, you see that big turtle with those huge cannons on the back, and yeah, you're screwed, You see those and you're screwed.
Have you kept up with Pokemon? Have you played the newer generations? What's going on there?
Nah,
Or are you just an OG?
yeah, I like just like the original Pokemon. I remember playing Pokemon Go with, I think we all played together too.
Yeah,
right?
do you remember that?
When it first came out, just catching all those first generation Pokemon. Yeah, that was fun, but probably Blastoise.
Blastoise, great answer. Dallas Chung writes in, where have you been and can you catch? I think we've answered that, Dallas. If Michael is ever back in town for a Danimals game, you can expect him to suit up for an inning or two, give you and Dula some much-deserved break on the catching duties. Jaja wants to ask, is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
Beautiful.
I was panicking for a moment. I was like, what?
Well, Jaja, you want to give the fans some context to why that question was asked and answered the way it was?
I brought this up a couple of times in the past podcast. We have an exclusive group called the Krusty Crew. It was a group that was formed within the Marino baseball team just to, celebrate one of the best shows ever made on Nickelodeon, on any channel. We before this episode, Michael and I were reminiscing on the Christmas episode. This time of the year has got us feeling a little extra giddy.
Do the laugh. Do the laugh. Do the laugh. Do the laugh.
No, I had to
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael, I want to hear your laugh.
Nah,
Actually.
I can't do that. Man.
You just gotta hit your Adam's apple.
Michael grew up, folks.
Oh, man,
That's why he's so low.
Smurf no more.
Well, Michael, I'm going to throw this back to a past segment. Let's go ahead and go around the table and see if you can assign a SpongeBob character to each of us sitting here on the set of Under the Lights, presented by Danimals Baseball. This is one that Chase struggled with. He said everybody on SpongeBob was Landon. I want to get a little more personality than that. Let's go around the room.
Okay, well, for sure Landon is the my leg guy. I think Chase, Chase said it perfectly. Jarin, obviously, I think you're not Patrick, sorry, you're SpongeBob. The happy-go-lucky, always got a smile on his face.
His pants are way too high.
Yeah, and dude, honestly, when you were talking about how you were saying, I want to be this guy sucks, or that fits you perfectly. Like, to be honest,
why?
That's something I could see you say in a public setting, and like you wouldn't be afraid to do it.
No, that's Ryan actually at a baseball game.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah. And for me, I'd probably be Squidward because of my big nose. Me and Kyle Abe were the nose bros, so.
The nose bros. I forgot about that. Oh, classic. This episode of Under the Lights, presented by Danimals Baseball, is sponsored by Growler Hawaii. From quality craft beverages, delicious cuisine to a quality ambiance, Growler Hawaii is the place to be for your post-game Danimals Dubs Sellies. Experience the best quality American beer at a craft beer pub in Honolulu. Located in Kapahulu near Waikiki Beach, it is the go-to place to sit back, relax, and enjoy handcrafted beer made to perfection. We all look forward to a crisp beer and delicious grinds after our ball games. Mahalo, Uncle Bill, Uncle Al, Josh, and Jake. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to Under the Lights, presented by Danimals Baseball, here at Growler Hawaii on Kapahulu with our special guest, Michael Nishiki. During the break, we got some questions from our live studio audience for you. We're just gonna rip some of these real quick. One question is just, I'm assuming from Chase, why the Mariners?
I don't know. I have this tendency to root for teams that suck, right? Like, I think we all know in high school I was a big Houston Texans fan just because they were the worst team. They had the first pick in the draft. But for the Mariners specifically, I also have family up there, and they would always send me Ichiro t-shirts and Kenji Jonjima t-shirts. And even though they were terrible and I would always see them lose on ESPN, I feel like it would make winning that much more sweeter when they do win, when they did break that drought, and they are going to win a World Series, hopefully. But
and Michael is a resident of Seattle now, so that makes true. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes more sense now. What's your favorite dog?
Favorite dog?
Yes.
Like the breed or just?
It just says favorite dog.
Me. Because I got that dog.
Shut up. Yeah, my dog, obviously. But shout out to all the other Danimal family dogs, past and present. Molly, Koa, Chip, Darren over there. I see you. Yeah, dude, any dog. I love all dogs.
All right. And this is from Dula. As a former state championship outfielder, what advice would you give to your cousin, Connor, parentheses, a senior at Monroe High School, where Chayson's a coach at?
Connor. Yeah, I would say, Connor, just don't ever get complacent. I always strive to be better. Listen to your coaches. Just try not to be too rascal. But I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think he's going to do some big things for Wanalua and at the next level. But yeah, just keep working, man.
And take it from your cousin. All you got to do in a state championship game is get 2 hits, and even if your pitcher does really well, you'll get player of the game. So
And you might tear your best friend's ACL.
You gotta have the moment so big that your teammate wants to celebrate so hard he tears his ACL.
we were talking about this last night. It was the funniest conversation. We were talking to Josh, and we are like, Josh, are you mad that you didn't get player of the game? Because and he said, yeah, he was very mad he didn't get player of the game. And then Landon goes, well, think of it this way. I didn't tear my ACL because he threw a CG one hitter. I tore my ACL because Michael got that 2 RBI single.
I did feel bad after, because when I watched the broadcast and I saw the commentator saying that you would be down there for player of the game, going to get interviewed, and that didn't happen. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then I watched my interview. I was like, oh, I should have probably shouted out Josh, because he threw a heck of a game. Probably the best game I've ever seen him pitch. Yeah, just sorry. Stay mad.
Stay mad.
The plaque is still at Michael's house, Josh.
Yeah.
Hey,
I got it engraved.
wherever we are and however old we are, we're going to bring up the yearbook and we're going to open it up and throw it back to the good old days there at the Marino Baseball. I think that's just something very cool about our group.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of good old days, I mean, just I think about all the memories whenever like we have guests on. One of my favorite memories was when we used to go to Kudu Kudu after practices or games or whatever, workouts at Kahala Mall. And I think that was when I was like a freshman or something and you were a junior or whatever.
Yeah.
You let me drive your car.
Oh, God.
That was the very first time I sat behind a wheel.
So that's why.
That's why he's a really bad driver. No, I remember taking my foot off the gas or off the brake, and we started rolling forward, and I immediately slammed my foot right back on the brake, and we went. And yeah, I mean that was crazy good times back then. Just eating and talking with the boys at Kudu Kudu. I do want to jump into another riddle real fast. This is a riddle, not a joke. So your job to solve it.
It's all a joke, dude.
Okay, well, I think I see the answer on the screen over there, so maybe I'll just...
Stop! Okay. This is a type of plant that you might see at Christmas. It's hung above your head, and beneath it you might kiss.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, the mistletoe.
So would you say that if you find yourself beneath a mistletoe with another person, that is your obligation to give them a kiss?
Yep.
Right on, right on. Okay.
Well, it's the obligation, so...
Do it.
Michael, I love you, but brother, this is plastic.
No, it's not. It's real.
Okay.
It is real.
Pieces of paper that
Sure?
are rolled up.
No, it's real.
So you got it from Walmart or something.
It's from Trader Joe's.
Well, Michael's nose is going to hit my face before our lips meet.
It won't work. It won't work. All right, so you got to plant one on me then.
This got awkward.
It's the obligation.
This got awkward. Jarin, get out of here.
All right.
Give me a kiss then.
How'd you guys do this off camera? Jesus
Close your eyes,
Christ.
Jarin. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your
What are you
eyes.
gonna do?
Close your eyes.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to kiss you.
No, you're not.
Close your eyes.
He's going to smack him.
Thank you for tuning into the Christmas episode of Under the Lights presented by Danimals Baseball.
Flying
Season
off the
2,
rails.
Episode 3. Special guest Chayson Dulatre earlier. Special guest Michael Nishiki here live from Growlers, Hawaii. We hope you have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And until next time.
Is that your finger?
That's a wet willy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's a wet willy.